Good morning and welcome to another edition of Roadhouse Live. We are live. Today is July 27th, 2023. Bender, what's going on, man?
That was interesting. You had a little like pause, reverse, second thought. Oh no, wait, yep, go ahead.
I did have a second thought. I didn't know what was going on. I'm trying to do a couple of different things. It's like it's life is so funny, Bender, because it's like one day you think that you're moving in a certain direction as far as life in the world, and then the next day all of a sudden it's a little bit different, and then you get back to the same day and the same morning out of a groundhog moment, and you're like, nope, it's still pretty much the same. How about you?
Much the same. Still pretty much the same.
Still pretty much the
Well,
same.
yeah. At this moment in time, as we've known each other, you've seen that for me that can certainly change very quickly, but it's not usually for me. It's when something when that change happens, it's like, oh no, we're all in now. New direction.
New direction.
Yeah.
So it's new, yet different, yet still the same. Okay, let's get into the stuff that matters. So look,
Yes,
we had earnings yesterday. Again, Meta performed very, very well. Several of the other companies that reported yesterday, again, well, everybody, for the most part, give and take, is reporting as they should, if not a little bit better. Then to kind of summarize the federales yesterday, it's something that I said on the little black box show yesterday, and I'll say again this morning. Powell gave bears nothing to chew on. Nothing to chew on. Powell gave bulls no reason to sell in any capacity. So here we are. We get big green candles on the back of, I think, we were running pretty hard off of overnight. We were running pretty hard up until we got the data release. And lo and behold, we have core CPI creeping back down again, well below. If you look at that jump on CPI, that core number, as far as, what it was last month to what it was this month and the anticipated beat on it, that's one hell of a beat. It is very, very difficult. And you combine that with the fact that, once again, unemployment claims came in about right. Durable good orders came in about right. Everything lining up for GDP came in over. So we have GDP, okay. We have all data pointing okay. In addition to that, we have inflation cooling. Our battle has been 100% the Fed and inflation. That battle, that war, that whatever we want to call it, looks to be subsiding, looks to be just about over. This is almost, this is Hitler in the bunker as far as inflation, about to take himself out. That's where we are right now. I don't think there's any other way to look at it. I don't think there's any other narrative to throw out there. We can say that data is lagging. We can say that, hey, you know what? It's like, yeah, but it's like, if it's lagging, it's like this motherfucker's on the Pony Express going 200 years back as far as trying to get here. And I would imagine, with everything that's going on and all the indicators and all the data that we have access to, this is not to where it's like you get a lag that is this substantial. Now, with this being said, there is the concept overall, Bender, as in the straw that broke the camel's back. I think that we can all agree that any more pressure on the consumer is not going to end well. I think we can all agree that any more rate hikes beyond where we are now is not going to sit real well. And even what we have on the books right now may indeed impact the consumer from a credit standpoint. But we also have to acknowledge that the market took a big spill off of inflation in the battle that the Fed was waging against inflation and the consumer, right? That's what that was. Now we're to the point to where we're coming back up near those levels that we were before that battle began. and it's looking like, everything could be okay. So when we're looking for this massive drawdown and pullback coming off of an earnings season that saw everything pretty much line up fairly well for all companies, it's very difficult to say, hey, we have doom and gloom and we're going back down to 3,800, 3,500. Very, very difficult to do that unless something within the data changes. Flow yesterday, Bender, and then we'll flip into your charts here a little bit. Flow yesterday, they wanted to buy, they wanted to pump. We got those back and forth candles. We came right back down, but what we did not see puts worth a shit. We saw some profit taking. We saw some nervous hands as far as, okay, do I want to stay in these calls? Do I want to stay in this? And we sold back down, and then we rocket shot it back up again and through all over again to the upside. So now we're going to find ourselves above some areas that I was even looking at yesterday as far as needing to break. We're going to open up above those. We're going to have another little gap coming through on the daily here. We're going to have, some things that we have to consider as far as playing the ranges. But the game and the idea, the overall concept that we are too hot, we are too overheated, we are too this and too that. You can look at the pullback on the NASDAQ and you can say bullshit. You can say bullshit. NASDAQ has pulled back very, very nicely over the past week and a half. And it's right back to where it was getting ready to make a power move back to the upside. Now, we do have big earnings next week, but we do have some fairly big earnings already out of the way. So, Bender, why don't you spin the wheel on these charts and tell us what we got?
Sure. All right. Here is the ES. Real quick, I'm going to go all the way out to a weekly because you can see this line right here, which is a 78.6% retracement of down move. Which down move? Well, this down move. The biggest down move right here. That is 78.6% retracement of that move. So you know where that line comes from. Okay. Going to the hourly here. Get a sense of where we're at. We've got, this is that parallel channel top right here. Mm-hmm. So we just wicked through it and pulled back off of it. You've got the 1618 extension up here, 4639. So yesterday I was talking about 4622 and then 4639 being that 1618 extension of this move, this push up, pull back, and then fire. And 4639 would be the 1618 extension. So, it's tricky in here because we're at that parallel channel top. I've got a trend line just above right here, and this is just taken from these two times that we pierced through that parallel channel top. It looks something like that. So these lines are parallel. So that gives you, okay, if it's going to, pierce through again, the top of that would put us right at that 1618 extension. So if it decides it wants to keep going higher, that 4639 area would be the area that I would look at and go, okay, this is, if they're going to beat it down again, that'd be a good area for them to do it. Going to a 15-minute, you see I've got the London session high marked right here. Let's see what they do with it. Right in here early. Below that, you can see you've got a 15-minute fair value gap right in here. Right? And then below that, you have this candle's low 46.20 area, 46.19.25. If it gives that up and it can't reclaim it, then we're looking at this 60-minute fair value gap down in here, which would take us down closer to 46.10, 46.11. With the midnight open and yesterday's close, they're not exactly in the same spot, but within a couple of ticks of 46.06 half. And then below that, you see what we've got. In here, we still have that double bottom hanging out down there. So for me personally, I was looking at this area up in here potentially being, near term top. It could go all the way to this 46.51 half. But this is kind of the area that I'm looking at going, okay, I could see us find some resistance in here, and then, over the next few weeks, make the move back down to the bottom of the channel, which would be in that kind of 43.50 to 4,400 area. Now, obviously, market's going to do whatever market's going to do, but my sort of rough draft plan is that, I want to see what flow says, especially flow going into September. Flow looking at, August monthlies, see what that kind of looks like.
Yeah. August monthly at this point in time, at this juncture, is very bullish.
Good.
I can say that. September, I don't have a feel for, but I can say August is bullish.
Yeah. And going back to the weekly for a second, we can see that we filled in, we had this weekly fair value gap top. We had filled that in, and kind of where we're at the week on the weekly, there's not a whole lot between where we are. And I mean, you can see the top of this, let's see, this candle's top right here is like that 46.40 level.
Mm-hmm. We lost the Benda. All right. I'm sure he'll be back on. Sonny, what you got, buddy?
Hey, man. Pretty quiet
Sorry.
on the news site.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't know what happened. I just got disconnected. But we can see that on the weekly, above this candle's high, that 46.40, then you've got all the way up at like 47.22, and then this candle's high, that's the big one, 47.57.75. That was like a swing high before, making that next leg down. So, there's certainly still these areas up in here that, we could charge and overtake. And, you were saying, you had made a comment a few days ago that we're not that far from ATH, right? And we're not. We're a couple hundred points, nothing. But we typically don't go straight up to get there. We experience some pullbacks along the way, and I'm looking for that kind of next pullback before the next leg higher. Doesn't mean I get it, but it does mean that, when we're up here tickling these levels, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna lighten up on some stuff.
You know what's interesting about that?
Really, just look for another place to add back in.
You have the weekly up, right?
Right now, I got the hourly up.
Okay, but put the weekly back up just real quick, because this is a fun little exercise as far as what you just said. Scroll over pull it over to where we see the fall.
Right in here?
Right in there. So I want you to look right there. When we made, so we had a little pullback, right, off of ATH. We had that pull. But let's take it to that secondary pullback where it bought itself back up And there was still question, okay, what will the Fed be doing? What's going on with the Fed? Right in through there. We say that nothing goes straight up or straight down. That motherfucker went straight down on bad news. Look at that.
It did.
Right there.
But then it bounced.
But then it bounced. Okay. So but the catalyst for that was the Fed and the concept of demand destruction, how they were going to bully us into a recession, how everybody dead. Right. That's what those candles were. These candles over here, scroll back over to the right, going back up the other way. These candles are these pullbacks that chop just below, the fire and breakout that we just had there. That chop was figuring out what the Fed is going to do. How is the data reacting? What is the long-term outlook when it comes to rates and everything else? These candles that we're seeing right now can easily buy back up in the same fashion that they went down now that those headwinds are off. So I understand what you're saying. I just wanted to be the devil's advocate to the nothing goes straight up or straight down. Things can go straight up, straight down when you have news and catalysts, or you have the weight of the world being taken off the markets and the economy in a lot of ways.
Oh, sure.
Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, that's what happened yesterday, and that's what's been happening with these ER reports. We can go back and look at Home Depot and say, you know what? How the fuck you guide down and are up 15, 20% off of a guide down? How you do that? How do you do that with UMP? How do you do that with a lot of these other companies that are, put in mediocre results and negative results and are still trading higher for what they were? It tells me in a lot of ways that the market has zero desire to sell at this point, especially if there's even a hint that we can get a reduction in rates in the next 12 to 24 months.
Sure.
So then absolutely. That has to be repriced in. So that's all I wanted to say as far as the straight up, straight down. That motherfucker went straight down.
Now it did, and then it bounced, right? And when I say, pull back or sell, as we know, and as we say all the time, like, I have no idea what the market's going to do, right? Mm-hmm. All I have is these levels where I go, okay, if I was going to buy, where would I want to buy? Doesn't mean I'll get it, but where's my price? And if I'm going to sell, or if I'm going to take profit, where's that? What's my price? And why would I think that way? Well, I would think that way because we'd be up near that 1618 extension. Again, piercing this channel top, and, looking for us to potentially cool off a little bit before we make that charge up and over some of those higher weekly candles, up and over 4,700. I would be looking for, my price would be a pullback off this channel top or near this 1618.
Mm-hmm. We lost him again. All right, Sonny. No.
Yeah, I'm having issues this morning. Anyway, you get the gist of it.
Correct.
Go ahead and move on.
Sonny, what you got, buddy? It's not a false alarm this time.
Yeah, I wasn't going to fall for it this time. Pretty light, again, on the news side and upgrades, downgrades. Surprisingly, they upgraded Boeing after the ER, and they also upgraded Meta. I mean, wish they would do it before the earnings. But never too late to the party. The other one is NOW. They raised the price target to 60 at TD Cohen and Wells Fargo. I don't see much on the downgrade side. So moving on to the news, Netflix is restructuring their contract with Microsoft. So they had a deal with Microsoft where they would buy majority of their ads for their ad tier from Microsoft and then the other partners. Now they want to restructure it so they can equally go out to everybody else and buy ads from them. They got a little push up from that. Airlines are saying they're seeing softer demand, their labor costs are high. That is because all of them went through their labor negotiations with the pilots and the ground crews and things like that, and everybody had to give out raises. I just think this is going to be the way of putting some additional fees out there and saying, ticket prices are not going down even if the fuel prices come down. They're setting this up for that. Transportation actually is busy today. Cruise lines, nice move today. Royal Caribbean said their demand has accelerated. This is the best year they've ever had, and they continue to see strength going into Q3 and Q4. So, cruise lines got a nice pop. CCL had nice volume pre-market. A couple of days ago, I had talked about this trucking company, Yellow. So they're looking to file bankruptcy. They are probably not going to make that 50 million payment towards the retirement fund for the Teamsters, things like that. They owe too much money in loans. And I had mentioned in Roadhouse yesterday, I've been seeing like a lot more JBHT trucks pushing Amazon trailers or pulling Amazon trailers on the road. Amazon had also put out a news, but it didn't make much of a headline, where they're reducing their freight drivers and stuff, the employees, and I think they're going to be doing more contracts and outsourcing more to keep their costs down, especially for trucking transportation. They're also expanded it out to where they're carrying loads for other companies, for Walmart and things like that. And the Chinese premier met with the Indonesian president. The significance of this is, so Indonesia is the next big hub for nickel mining. I mean, they have a lot of nickel there. They haven't mined much, but they're propping up factories. Tesla has also talked about they want to open up their next plant in Jakarta. This is going to be a battle for the US. US doesn't have much of an investment in Indonesia, so it looks like China is going to pour much more money in there. They promised like $8 billion as of yesterday to start structuring this up. So that area, nickel mining, things like that, is going to heat up. Find any stock, especially in the Chinese sector. I would, if there's anything cheap, I'll pick some up. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, that's about it, the man says. Do we get Stonkington?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, buddy, there he is. There he is.
I'm here. I'm ready. We got some stuff to do today. We got some screen sharing. We got some charts. Let's see. We've got some ERs. We've got Ford coming up today. Let's see if we can get my screen going here. And I think we know what that means for the Ford. It's time. Let's get this thing over here. Today on the docket, we've got this monster truck. Oh, yeah. Very timely here today. Today we've got the Ford F-250 SD King Ranch Crew Cab Monster Truck Edition. And good old Sacramento. Someone tried to steal my car last night, so I might have to win this one for myself. We'll see. Any guess? No guesses yet. This thing. We've got the $2 bill.
Would you drive that?
I mean, yeah, why not? Oh, I got my shovel attached in the back over here.
Man, this is a tough one. This is a really, really tough one.
Yeah, you even got the specifications this time, so you can't complain.
What year is this?
2006.
Oh.
Bateman's in 75 Trump bucks. Guess is rolling in.
I'm gonna go 48K.
For what, you just pre-cucked yourself off full moon, but okay, maybe you snuck it in there. Full moon's in at 50K. Ducky's just going to blame it on the entire state of California. That's
You know what? I'm flipping back. I'm going 32.5.
okay.
32.5.
It's coming down.
I'll go 30. No, I'll go 28.
I'm surprised there's no 32,501.
I thought about it.
Oh, we got a winner here. It's going to be Mr. Full Moon. This is coming in at 60K. So you got yourself a picture of a stupid looking truck. Well done. All right, let's get into the charts. Yeah, so Meta did good, I guess, and now we're popping off. So let's see what we've got going on here. This yellow box was a daily fair value gap that we have been pushing up into above. So this could be an upside target if we're going to continue. 911, never forget. And then we've got our volume imbalance, the difference between the bodies of this candle here and that candle. If we were to push down, this is kind of what we've left behind on the pop overnight. So first downside target would be this area. We can see this, we've had some reactions to this level. So if we need to pull back, we'd be looking down in this area. One other interesting thing to note is, so we're working on a 4-hour candle here, and you can see this sell. This would have all been fair value gap stuff down in through here. And we would need to see a 4-hour candle close above this line here to make me thinking, okay, we got to use this as a fair value gap as support. So we'll kind of see what we get, see what a pullback might look like. But yeah, as we kind of started the show, everything was looking very bullish. So see what we get. Jump over to the Russell. Tried to draw a trend line as far as what could be going upside, what they're working on. We've got an old gap above. This could be an upside target if we continue here on the Russell. A little bit different than the NASDAQ. The Russells creep up overnight, didn't leave as much behind. So if we start to pull back, could be looking to this 1993.80. And then we've got this order block line that I would be looking to see if this held as support. And then if we lost that, we could have some more room to the downside, 1981. So we'll kind of see what we get. Again, they've been kind of still hitting small caps. Upstart's been having some crazy moves, Rivian, things like that. So we'll see what we get. If we jump into the individual tickers, we could do some adjustments here. I wanted to look at Microsoft just because, Apple is up there, but it's like Apple's just kind of, it seems tough. It's like, I can't imagine Apple making these massive moves sitting up there. I guess Microsoft's up here near all-time highs as well, but we'll see what we get. I would probably adjust this put trigger and move it up to something like here, 337.70. Just see what we get. If we get a pullback, that could just work as support. We could see this has been an important area repeatedly on Microsoft. Even in the overnight session. And then for upside, I would be watching this 340.10, which is another one that's like, this is definitely an important area on Microsoft, repeat reactions to that line. So just kind of see what we get on flow and price action there. And then the other one was going to keep an eye on Tesla. It didn't really participate, as looked like to me, in terms of the big move up. So here again, we could do like a little adjustment based on overnight action. I'd probably move this up just to right there. And then this could then become a put trigger. So that would be probably what I'd be looking for here today on Tesla. So it'd be long over 270, maybe 15-ish right there. And then short below 268, nice round number. So we'll kind of see what we get on that one. And I think that's all I got.
Is that it?
That's it. That's all I got.
That's all. Boy says that's all he's got. All right, Bender, do you want to do anything else? You got anything else you want to say? Nope. Stonk, anything else? Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
All right, look, so we know what the landscape is. We know how these earnings have been reporting out. We know quite a bit as far as what the market appears to want to do. We did not see put flow yesterday. There was not a lot of put flow. So now we have to ask the question, what shall today be? What are they going to be doing? Are they going to profit off of this and send us back down? Or are they going to come in and really start slapping calls into some of these tickers that, have reported and lagged? It's like Microsoft, very important to take a look at. Google, important to take a look at. What are they doing there? Tesla is one that has been sitting here consolidating with a very messy looking chart. What's it going to do? What's it going to do? We shall find out today. We shall watch flow closely, and we shall have a good day. That's all I got, fellas. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
1, 2, 3, go. 8
Go.
minutes and some change until open. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
See ya.